Alright, so this is 100% Apashe, and today we are going to break down this project. This is how it sounds like. Alright, so this was the full drop of the 100% Apashe. I'm going to show you this track is actually the track I was taking reference from. It's the new track with Mala and Apashe called No Escape. So for everybody who are interested for the reference, this was the track I was starting with, and I was kind of like trying to copy the structure and kind of recreate the style they did there. Alright, so just quickly, Masterclass 2025 for everybody who wants to skyrocket their music production and marketing skills from 0 to 100 in 1 month. First link into the description, go check it out, it's selling really fast. So the first thing that I did is that I started with the drums, and since this is a house, it was pretty simple deciding for me what to do. First thing, I just grabbed a kick. It's normal sounding kick, and then combined the kick with the clap. And already I got the setup for the house tempo and house drums. Then I found this cool sounding kind of effect. It's a one shot. And it's just so heavy that it kind of fits the whole vibe of the song. When you want to have your drums housey and sound housey, you need the hi-hat. The hi-hat is going to add the rhythm basically to the drums, right? And then some house drum loop. A full-on drums which are going through whole of the project, and they are just so simple through whole idea. Super easy. The processing on the kick, there's one thing in the drop is supported by a drum bass. So when we're gonna play it, so the drum bass, what is doing the drum bass is that it's adding a little bit of that bass frequency here. That's the drums, that's the kick, and that's the whole explanation of a house drums. Let's move into the orange section called brass and basses. And now it's going to get a bit interesting. My first idea was to create this kind of a brass sounds and brass feelings and create like an orchestral intro for the track. And I feel like I achieved pretty decent idea here. So when we're gonna solo it, alright, so that's the brasses. And for those who knows, the Serum 2 now includes a lot of orchestral sounds, and I actually used some of those sounds to the track, to the idea. So Serum first, in the first Serum I'm using cinematic longing. It's kind of like a brass, right? Electronic electronic brass or brass. It's kind of like the electronic brass. Then the second Serum. The second Serum is actually more of a brass, and I use the cinematic brass, but the one difference, and the difference is that I use distortion here on that sample. And the third one the third one is actually just violins, you know, and together I combine those three sounds, which are just from samples from a serum, so they are like factory settings, right? In the factory you can find the orchestral, and I just combine them together. I just created this like a really big brass. So that's the brass. You can see that the processing there is like 0, so I kind of wanted to leave it pretty natural, and then I started to work around that, and I added this sweet piano loop from a splice. For me it was kind of empty, so I added my own piano from an Autoria collection, and I created this pretty easy sounding MIDI clip and put an arpeggiator on, OTT, and you know, the EQ is just for the visualization. So together the piano sounds like this. There's like 2 pianos playing at the same time. And then under that I layered another brass from Serum and with a little bit of pedal. So this is a preset string and horns assembled with the reverb. Just to create that feel for like a different melody layer with the bass. Alright, so straight away it's a pretty easy, interesting idea combined together with all the brasses. It's kind of like an orchestral house, which is kind of like the Apashe style. That's why it's called 100% Apashe. And then, of course, some effect layers. So I added like a beep. So this is a beep, just to kind of set up the key of the whole song. Some effects like laser. And for those who knows, I actually created a video that is called like good intros and breakdowns, and I kind of explain all these effects and how the tracks come together with the effects. So the effects are actually like glue things for your tracks, and they add a lot of like life to your ideas. So please don't forget to add like beeps, effects, maybe glasses. Maybe a glass or something like that. Of course, a little bit of that vocal. So that's for the bridge part. That's for the drums and the bridge part. Of course, don't forget to use sidechain. For a sidechain, I use LFO tool with node retrigger and rate 1.8. So in this build up, I'm starting to introducing the main lead for the drop, which sounds like this. I open it up with the auto filter, so it's just not starting from the start. Put an arpeggiator on, and this ARP is actually just a lately based 2025 with a bit of like a tweakings here and there, but what is creating the effect is the arpeggiator. Right, so it's opening, and then under that I wanted to create like some really interesting sounding like elements to the bass, to the main sound. So I added synths and brasses. It just sounds more futuristic and more like an you know, whole song and whole idea. So dun dun dun. This is just like a Serum preset again, with a little bit of that reverb and stuff. This is brass from a Serum called Cinematic Brass. There's no distortion. I added distortion through the pedal and automated brass with an alto filter. This part of the build sounds like this. I forgot to mention these vocals. So these vocals is just like a, you know, loop from a splice again. And what is funny about this is this shifter shifting the vocals.
audio visual experience.
So it's just like more interesting, and I wanted to add the vocals to have the idea a bit full, because without the vocals it was kind of like a lame. So I just wanted to add it like kind of a rave vocals. Of course, the effects in terms of folder. So here in this part of a build up, I back introduced the horns from the bridge, and you can notice that now I'm not in like a different, I'm not like copying the melody of the piano, because the piano was on the first note, then it went down a little bit and then down again. What I'm doing here, this is the melody of the piano, this is the bass of the piano. What I'm doing here in the build up, what you notice is that I'm now starting to go on a one note. This is how you can go from a melodic bridge to one note drop, which is dope, is that you just took the root note and then you play around the root note, one or two notes higher or lower. That's why you when and how you can create like a dope melodies. And yeah, and this is how the build up sounds like. Structure of this part is easy, because the only thing that you need to do is kind of like stack the drums like this, so it's go like right, so it's creating this kind of feel of, oh, something is going to happen. And then I found this snare build, which I automated with the auto filter, so it's kind of like opening, right? Add a snare like this. So it's just like more stuff is going on, right? So it's just like hyping up. And in the pre-drop, I wanted to make something interesting, so I took the original piano and kind of took this dun 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 boom. So it's kind of creating this impact thing to the drop together, combined with this one shot. And this is a kick. Let's break down the drop and what's the interesting here in the drop. So the main part of the drop is the lead that was introduced in the build-up. You can see that this pedal is doing a lot to the sound. So actually, like, the main thing that I started to use a lot in my tracks and in my ideas is the pedal sound, which is kind of distorting the leads. And of course, with this pedal sound, you want to have some decent bass. The original idea and the original song from Apashe and Mala and Apashe is really simple, and it's like really just built around one sound with a really hard kick and simple tempo. So in a lot of songs, there is not actually important to have a lot of, a lot of sounds and a lot of progression in your sounds. What is important is the simple idea and what you want to do with your song. What is the main thing you want to focus on? You want to focus on the intros. You want the track to be whole full composition, or you want the listener to focus on the drop, right? So that's how you will build your tracks around, and the track will have most plays around these parts when the drop is, right, when the hard thing kind of drops. So that's for the drop. Honestly, just find in a serum. Your serum 2 is now released, so I just found like a interesting acid sounding bass, put a arpeggiator there, pedal, and that's kinda it. Combine it with a nice bass, and then with a second sound. So it just has that high end, that top of the sound, which kind of hits pretty nice. All right, and then the bridge, I kind of copied the original bridge and combined the original bridge with Reese bass, now from the serum. So it's just 16 unison sine wave with filter opening and really hard distortion on overdrive, 2 stacks, and it created pretty interesting sounding bass. Yeah, and that's the full idea. This is the 100% Apashe, and this is how it sounds like. This is how you can get his style done with the Serum 2, with a splice. Super easy. If you like this breakdown and this idea, please give my channel a subscribe, leave it a like, and give some comments what you like, what you don't like, if I should continue with these ideas here on this channel. Thank you so much. For those who wants samples, for those who wants presets from this project, the whole project is going to be on my Patreon. Second link into the description. For those who are interested in skyrocketing their progress as a music producer in music production and marketing from 0 to 100 in 1 month, Masterclass 2025. First link. This is everything from me. A.way signs. Peace. See you in the next one.